Madness of the Darkmoon Faire is coming soon, so that means it's time to review the Warlock cards. Starting off, we have the 2-mana 1/5 Demon Midway Maniac. I think this card is quite solid. It's not hard to imagine playing this in a zoo deck because it is a demon, and that demon tag is very important, by the way. But the way I see it is you play a Flame Imp on turn 1, so you have a 1-mana 3/2. And then they develop a minion, and then you play Midway Maniac, and you can keep attacking with that Flame Imp for quite some time, and they are super pissed off. I think this is just a very sticky taunt that's hard to get rid of, and maybe if you buff it, it can become even more powerful. In general, I just think it's a pretty good card, and I think it's one of a couple pieces that's coming together to make a demon-focused Zoolock, which I think will be tier 2. So I'm going to give this a 4 to 5 across the board, much like many of the cards in this set. Free admission. Draw 2 minions. If they're both demons, reduce their cost by 2. This is a huge part of the zoo deck. It is the reason why you would run all demons, and I've tried to make this deck, and I think it is possible because a lot of the cards in this set are demons. They decided to give Warlock good cards, finally. This is a very powerful card. It's Arcane Intellect, except it reduces the cost of the minions by 4, which basically would make them free in a lot of cases. It's a ton of tempo, since that means you can actually draw cards and play them immediately. And it's not impossible to only have demons because this set is adding so many demons. You don't have to run bad stuff, like you can run Midway Maniac. So I'm going to give this a 5 in card quality and a 5 in meta rating, because I think this is one of the biggest parts of why Zoolock is going to work. Demon Zoolock specifically. Here's another card. It's a 3-mana 3/4, not a bad stat line, and it's a demon, so you're feeling better about running it. And it has a pretty sweet battle cry. 3 mana, give a friendly demon +3 attack and lifesteal this turn. It's basically 3 mana, deal 3 damage, and heal 3. I love it. You put it on the, the Midway Maniac. It's amazing. I think this is a 4 across the board. It is Abusive Sergeant, but for demons only, and it's going to be very strong. Very solid card. Fits with the archetype. Next up, we have Ring Matron. This is a 6-mana 6/4 taunt, Death Rattle summon 2 3/2 imps. I don't think this is that great. I think we have enough demons without this. I did wonder, maybe this just makes the cut because it's good enough, but it seems like we have enough neutral and Warlock demons to not need to run this. So for that reason, I'm going to give it a 2 out of 5 in card quality and a 1 out of 5 meta relevance. I just don't think this is going to see play. Next up, we have Cascading Disaster. This won't see play in Zoo. It is a control kind of card, which maybe will work with some of the Quest Warlock stuff we have, and the other 6-mana Warlock spell that we're going to look at later. I think this is kind of slow. It's like a 4-mana random Assassinate, but then every time you play a card that costs more than 4, it gets a bit better. I think it's cool that it has 3 separate art things. I think oftentimes you're probably going to play it and it's going to kill 2 minions, which isn't bad. I don't know how I feel about it. I think I'm going to give it a 2 out of 5 in card quality, as it's a bit slow, and a 3 out of 5 in meta rating, because I could see it still being slotted in somewhere as kind of like an okay spell. Moving along, we have Ticketus, the 6-mana 8/8 demon. Yeah, demon again. Battlecry, remove the top 5 cards from your deck. Corrupt your opponent's deck instead. So they remove the top cards from their deck. I think this card is great, and I don't think it has a lot to do with the corrupted case, at least in the meta moving forward. I think this card is super strong, kind of hard to corrupt in Warlock, but what makes it so good is it's a 6-mana 8/8 demon, and if you play free admission, it's a 4-mana 8/8 demon. Yeah, you lose top 5 cards of your deck. You don't really care about that. You're Zoo. You're playing really aggressive. You just want as much tempo as possible, and 4-mana 8/8s are good. So I think this is a great card. On top of that, in a more control-y deck, this is still really powerful. So I'm going to give this a 5 across the board. I think it's a super powerful card, but I actually see it being used in that Zoo deck. Deck of Chaos. So another really cool card. Swap the cost and attack of all minions in your deck. Very hard to evaluate. You could do this with something like Malagos, and it becomes a 4-cost Malagos. There are many other cards in the game that if you make them cost their attack value and give them more, Malagos becomes a 9 attack card because it costs 9 mana, which is not really the point, but it's still nice. It's going to get better. However, it is a 6-mana spell that basically does nothing that turn. What does that remind me of? Luna's Pocket Galaxy. And Luna's Pocket Galaxy, I'd say, is a bit better than this in a lot of cases, because you'd play it, you'd do nothing, yeah, but then the next turn you'd pop off with a bunch of 1-mana minions. So I don't know how I feel about this. I think it has a very strong effect. It might not live up to expectations. It's also really, really hard to evaluate because, like, I know there's going to be a crazy deck, but I can't see it right now. I think it's a good card. I think it's solid 4 out of 5. I'm sure someone will figure something out with it, and I'm going to give it a 3 out of 5 because I don't see it, and I don't think you play it yet, but maybe it's good. The other downside is that it has to be in the deck like Luna's Pocket Galaxy. It really feels like a worse Luna's Pocket Galaxy. So, I don't know. It's really hard to evaluate. 4 in card quality, 3 in meta rating. Fire Breather. More amazing zoo stuff. Battlecry, deal 2 damage to all minions except demons. This is a 4-mana, 4/3. Other classes do have demons, don't get me wrong, but this is going to do very well against stuff like Rogue, who have those stealth minions that only have 2 attack, Mage, lots of other classes. This is basically just a really solid demon that will continue pushing Zoo forward, keeping tempo, being aggressive, attacking, etc. I think it's a great card. I'm going to give it 4 like the rest of the Zoo cards. They're all in that little package. But if it wasn't a demon, you know, you wouldn't be able to play it, but it is. So this is going to be off of free admission, I think it is. It's 2 mana, deal 2 damage to all minions except demons. Damn, that's really powerful. 1 mana, Wicked Whispers. This is a spell that lets you discard your lowest cost card to give your minions +1/+1. I don't know how I feel about this. I think it's like pretty pricey. You're taking a lot, and it's not like Zoo always plays wide. So for that reason, I would probably give it a 3 out of 5 in card quality. It's situational. And I actually think that Zoo won't run it. I think it'll rather play other cards, and, you know, card economy still matters. So I'm going to give it a 1 in meta rating as well. So like 2 out of 5 card quality, 1 in meta rating. And last but not least, we have Revenant Rascal. I think Zoo would love to play this if it was a demon, but unfortunately it's not. This is a 3-mana 3/3 that destroys a mana crystal for both players, and I think that's the kind of effect that aggro decks like. Like if you're a control player and you're playing against an aggro deck, and they're attacking you and they're eating away at your health, and you don't really have cards that work yet, but you're just like, okay, a couple more turns and I can play my AoE. I can play my big heal card and I'll stabilize. If they play this, they don't care that they're still on 3 mana the next turn, because their cards cost 1, 2, 3, 4 anyway. They're fine. But your cards cost 5 and 6 and are expensive, so it's really good for an aggro deck. And yet, I think the demon stuff is going to be so good that you can't afford to run this. And for that reason, I think it's going to be a 2 out of 5 in meta rating. I don't see the deck that wants to play it, but it's a solid 3 out of 5 in card quality. I think it's pretty good for an aggro deck. Not broken, but pretty good. That's it for the Warlock cards. I'm looking forward to playing Zoo. I think it's going to be quite strong, and I think they finally got some interesting tools. I'd love to see Deck of Chaos pay off. If you enjoyed this review, please consider subscribing and checking out my other videos. I'm going to be doing lots more content in the future. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.